Hi, my name is Barbara Lynn Murphy, and I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to be reading from my debut novel, Two Lives, One Heart. The book centers on Josie, an IT professional who attends a career day event at a school where she meets teacher Trish McCann. Josie is instantly attracted to Trish, but she's presumably straight, so she's off limits for Josie. But they've hit it off, and their friendship is beginning. Josie and Trish made adult beverages at Tatiana's a Friday night habit. Their conversations were quick-witted, intelligent, sarcastic, and fun, exactly the way Josie liked it. She tried to keep from flirting, although she found it nearly impossible. Trish was just so damned attractive, both physically and otherwise. For 6 consecutive Fridays, Josie came home from the bar, sat on the floor, and cuddled Max. She would quickly remind herself that straight, formerly married women were not to be considered, no matter how adorable the dimples. Max groaned and rolled over for a belly rub in what Josie could only interpret as agreement. So she put it out of her mind at least until the following Friday. For her part, Trish still maintained that she was straight, and while she enjoyed the banter with a bit of sexual tension, it was a non-starter for her. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be fun to experiment in bed with a woman, Trish said one evening, as if it was no big deal. Josie's eyes widened, and she covered her mouth to keep from spitting out her wine. Oh, really? This is a new and exciting revelation. Have you ever experimented? Josie asked, leaning in, anxiously awaiting the answer like an impatient child. No, Trish replied. I'm sorry to disappoint you, she said, making a fake pouty face. Have you had the opportunity or the desire? Josie asked with only slightly less enthusiasm. Knowing Trish had thought about it was almost as intriguing as acting on it. Trish sat back as if she was having an internal debate as to how much she wanted to reveal. Yes, before I was married. I met a woman in college and we became close. She kissed me one day out of the blue. Well, if I'm honest about it, maybe it wasn't really out of the blue. I probably could have taken her to bed, but I didn't. Trish waved her arm as if to downplay the event, as it had little importance to her. Why not? Were you attracted to her? I was, but you know how it was back then. It was a shameful thing, and maybe I just didn't have the guts to pursue it. I guess I wasn't strong enough. Trish looked down at her drink, avoiding Josie's gaze. This sounds very much like my why straight women wreak havoc story, don't you think? It does, Trish agreed somewhat reluctantly. The only reason you didn't is because of how it was back then? Yes, I guess that's true, because thinking back on it, I realize I wanted to. I found her very sexy, but I just couldn't do it. Our friendship kind of fell apart after that. In hindsight, I think she may have been in love with me. She was a lovely woman, kind and funny, and I certainly enjoyed spending time with her. After all was said and done, I regretted losing our friendship. I still regret it. She stared off into the mirrored wall behind Josie, the sadness in Trisha's expression becoming obvious. I'm sorry. Looking back, do you think maybe you were in love with her? This is starting to feel like a therapy session. Trish began to fidget nervously, tension replacing her formerly relaxed state. Well then, maybe it's time for you to have a breakthrough because I couldn't help but notice you didn't answer the question. Josie put her hand on top of Trish's, prompting Trish to meet her eye to eye. Are you afraid that if you suddenly admit to being attracted to women, I'm going to pounce on you? Are you? Trish asked. She put her hands on her cheeks in an exaggerated oh my gesture, pretending to be uncomfortable if the answer was yes. No. Well, at least not here, not tonight. Josie sat back, putting her arm on the back of her chair. You'd require a lot of thought before I would dive into that particular pool, crush or no crush. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, Trish said. It's neither. It's just a statement of fact. And you still haven't answered me. I think maybe I was in love with her, Trish confessed. What was her name? Josie tilted her head as she asked. Why? Because when I hear interesting stories that someone I care about tells, it often helps to have names. Nameless people have less meaning, and something tells me that this woman does not fall into that category. Her name was Andrea. Are you saying that you care about me? Trish looked both puzzled and intrigued. I do. You sound surprised. Am I alone in that sentiment? No, you're not. I care enough to be scared of you. How's that for a breakthrough, Doc? The look in Trish's eyes turned playfully naughty. Josie tilted her head in surprise. Trying her best to contain the jolt of excitement, Trish had injected into the conversation. Scared, huh? I don't even know what to do with that information. Exactly how much wine have you had tonight? Not enough to say anything I don't mean. Trish sat back in her chair, proud of herself for a candid admission. Yeah, but are you going to regret saying it tomorrow? I guess I'll find out tomorrow, but for tonight I just thought you should know. Well, for the record, I'm terrified of you. Will you have dinner with me tomorrow night? Is this a date? Trish asked, surprised by her sudden excitement. That's your decision, my friend.